Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. We have a great show today. So much fun, so interesting. This is a real entrepreneur journey. You definitely want to check this show out because we're going to be talking to Miss Andrea Nerep. And Andrea is the CEO and the founder of a super cool app. It's called PetsPee. You heard right. You've probably been on the app. It's growing very, very, very rapidly. It's 100% pet-focused community. It was launched in April of 2018. It's a super cool idea. It can be found everywhere. It's a great app. It's so much fun. It's so interesting. So many dogs and pets on there. Anyway, it's just great. We're going to get into the whole thing, but I'm very excited about it because as many of our viewers know, I'm a big dog lover, and my wife Kristen and I love animals. And when we found PetsPee, we thought it was just the greatest app you ever saw. Andrea, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
This is a super cool idea you came up with. And as you know, what we like to do before we get started, we like to pull the lens back to 30,000 feet and have the CEO tell us all about their creation. So please tell us about PetsPee.
So PetsPee is the social media app for pets only. And on PetsPee, we communicate through the perspective of their pet. The moment you download it and you become your pet is your avatar. And the pet perspective really allows for a really positive space that relieves us from pressure of the human life when we share on traditional social media. And also the pet perspective really breaks down barriers between people, because when you speak as your pet, you don't care about looks or status or political views. It's all about connecting through the love of our pets. So it's a really strong and tight community, and it's super positive. And I'm so proud of everyone who's in there. They're amazing.
I love it, Andrea. You know, your application, PetsPee, has been called the cutest community on the planet.
Yes.
And it's so exciting, right? Because people love their dogs and they love their animals. And they finally have a platform really where the dogs express themselves. Now, it's kind of interesting because the dog is sort of like the avatar, but the dog, you post the dog's photo and what they're doing, and then you sort of talk for your dog. And it's so much fun. It's really unique, and you have so much love from the people coming on the application. How did you decide to do this amazing app, Andrea? How did you come up with this idea for PetsPee?
Well, it's very natural to me. It was when I adopted my dog Angus, who is also the CEO of PetsPee, or co-CEO. And it's interesting because I went through this complete change where I became experienced a kind of new love that I hadn't experienced before. And naturally, when you're a pet owner, you think your pet is so cute all the time. It's like, oh my God, look at him from this angle. And then you take a photo, and then the nose from this angle, and you take another photo, and you end up with so many photos on your phone. And then you start hanging out with other pet owners, and you realize oh, I'm not the only one who makes up silly voices for my pet, or imagine what they would say if they could speak human language. But I have never been a user of Instagram or Facebook for sharing. I really wanted the anonymous aspect, and also being able to overshare, because if I want to share 10 photos of my pet, that's okay, or more a day, right? So that's really when I came up with PetsPee, because I got so obsessed with my dog and being in his world and his perspective, and the way that he would look at me always with this disapproving look. And I would imagine he would say I'm not a dog, or something like that. So it really flipped in my head when I became so obsessed with doing PetsPee, and I pulled it all together with no previous knowledge of building apps or anything. So it was quite a journey.
This is amazing. So you had this love, you love animals, you love your dog, you wanted an opportunity to sort of share what the dog would be thinking and saying. So you decided, hey, why not put an app together? You didn't really know about apps. You decided to take an action step and take that first giant leap as an entrepreneur. You started and coordinated with people to build this incredible app. And now you have something that's called the cutest community on the planet. And what people love about PetsPee, Andrea, as you know, and our viewers might not know, is that you get to see all these pets from all these very unique places all around the planet. And it's just so much fun. The PetsPee users really love it so much. It's a very seamless and easy platform that you've been able to put together. So we need to ask the question, Andrea, because it's such a remarkable story. How did you build an app? I mean, did you contact some people and coordinate with them to build the app? How did it all come together?
It's a good question. Looking back in it, I'm like, I don't know how that happened, but I mean, I know I knew that in order to go and seek investment from someone, you have to be able to show that you started building something, right? And because there's a lot of people with amazing ideas out there, but to take an idea and then bring it into action is a different thing. So from my mother, she, who is my biggest fan and also a dedicated PetsPee user, she helped me take a little loan so that I could build a very minimal viable product of PetsPee. And then I went from there and seek capital and got my first initial funding, which helped me to build an app that was ready to launch for the market. And then, of course, we built so much upon that since that launch. But that's basically how it started. And I had to I'm a person who just asks a lot of people. I'm not afraid of asking for help. If I don't know anything, I'll figure it out. So I just reach out to so many people and how do I do this and how do I do that? And what do I need to build this? And it's just like, remove your ego and everything and don't be afraid to ask, and then you'll figure it out somehow.
Andrea, you're an inspiration. This is a great story. You borrowed a little bit of money. You built an MVP, a minimal viable product. You took it to some people. They said, wow, Andrea's onto something here. We can kind of see her vision. Let's feed her with some dollars to be able to build a better mousetrap, because we're seeing her idea and her passion. And we see that this is a very large market. Everybody loves their animals. They love their dogs. And she's onto something here. So then you took the funding round and you were able to build a better application, and then you keep on building better components on top of what you've already built. And it's an absolute amazing success story. And we're just so excited, Andrea, to have you on the show. You're really an inspiration. And I'm sure people watching the show are going to be saying to themselves, wow, this is really great. This is a story of someone that had an idea. She would look at her pet every day and say, wow, what would happen if I had a community of pet lovers that could talk through their pets sort of as an avatar from people all over the world? And what if we built this community that people just loved and we made it very simple and easy to use? So you know what? I'm going to build an app and I'm going to build a minimal viable product and I'm going to see what I can do here. Do you have any experience building businesses prior to this wonderful company at PetsPee?
I do not, but I've always worked at startup companies closely with founders before. And you kind of learn there that there is no role really. You just have to do everything and figure things out. And I think that really gave me the confidence to know that I could go and do it myself one day. So I had no consistent pattern really in my career choices. It's just been consistently inconsistent, basically. But just one day when I got this idea, it all made sense. And also with what I studied and my interests in my life, basically. So, no, it was pure obsession of wanting to pull this through that made it happen, I would say.
I love it, Andrea. And for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, it's that focused commitment, that passion, that unyielding idea that you have, that you want to take over the world in the segmentation or the business that you want to open, is really a fascinating journey that Andrea has had and has experienced and actually has pulled off. So it's incredible. Now, when we think about the way in which you built the business, one thing that you said, Andrea, that's really going to resonate with our entrepreneurs is you ask a lot of questions. You ask a lot of who, what, where, when, why, and how questions through the journey. So let's talk about that, because a lot of people are afraid to ask questions. What is it about you that you understand the importance of asking so many questions?
I think that you have to acknowledge your shortcomings. You're going into a space that you don't know much about. And I was also not very experienced by then in anything, I would say, in business. So you have to know your limitations, and that there are a lot of smart people out there in the world that are eager to help. Like, people in general want to share their knowledge. And if there's someone reaching out to them and asking, and, you know, in general, people are very eager to help you. And I think that is what I realized, because now in this position, when people are reaching out to me, I always respond. And I always will take a call with them, just if there's anything that I can share with them. And especially all of my mistakes, I think is most important to share, because there's no one fit for all solution for business. But one thing that you can do share with other people is don't try to do this.
I love it, Andrea. That's great advice. It's really wonderful. You've asked so many questions. You've surrounded yourself with talented people. How important, Andrea, is having people that you're around that can answer questions, mentors, people that have been through the process before? How important is it for Andrea Nerep to surround yourself with talented people that really can act as a mentor or act as a guide for you in your journey?
I think the real talent and people that have made it successful is the team that I put together, my colleagues or teammates. And it took a long time to find them. And in finding what you need to sort of figure out, these are my capabilities, and then these I need someone to compensate for. And I would say my closest colleague, Chelsea Williams, she is an everyday cheerleader. She's truly an inspiration. She's so resilient, and she's done an amazing job for the growth of PetsPee. So I would say it's really thanks to the team that I have now. They're amazing. And then, of course, you can ask people who are more acting like mentors for how to go about things, but they will still not be with you in your daily journey. So make sure that you have a really great team, and don't hire people who are too similar to you, because then you just end up with a lot of people who are like yourself. You need to have the opposite of you and opposite opinions.
That's great. That's great advice. We hear that with all of our successful entrepreneurs. You don't want to be surrounded by yes men and yes women. You want people that are going to give you their perspective. And that's why you want to have a team that come from different backgrounds, a team that have different ideas and different perspectives, so that they can give the CEO their perspective, which may be very unique to them, that then helps the CEO to make great decisions for the company. And of course, Chelsea Williams is the director of growth at PetsPee. She's done a phenomenal job. And of course, we have to talk about your incredible Brussels Griffin, Angus, who also is one of the co-founders of the company, right?
Yes, he is.
All right, I love it. Now, when I'm on the app, I was expecting to see dogs. But you have more than just dogs. You have a hedgehog on there. So you have all kinds of animals. So let's talk about that. What other types of animals do the people that download your app have and use PetsPee for?
I mean, the majority are cats and dogs, quite equal split between, but we have so many lizards and so many hedgehogs. I love them. I didn't know before that you could have a hedgehog as a pet. And also rodents and things. So it's a very fair mix. My favorite accounts are often the lizards and the birds. These birds and lizards are very peculiar in the way that they communicate, and it's just fun to see the way that they express themselves or even dress up with their stickers and stuff. And they're being, it's very fun personalities.
I love it, Andrea. It's so much fun. It's really catching fire. There's so many people coming on the PetsPee app now. Let's shift it a little bit more and talk about the business model, because obviously you have to have some income streams. I know you love the animals and love to help so many people to share their stories. But I know that you've added some income streams to the process. And of course, that's always important for a business, because besides doing a great job for your clients, you need to earn income to keep it all going. So let's just talk about that at a high level. I don't want you to get into the nuts and bolts because there's some secret sauce there, but at a high level, how have you been able to monetize the platform?
So at this point, we've built this strong community of dedicated pet lovers. So now it's the time for us to move into e-commerce and start selling products, PetsPee products, which is our brand in which they are connected to our community. And we started off with our PetsPee treats that are called salmon breath mints. They are made of 100% wild Alaskan salmon, and they come in little cute tin boxes. So when you go outside, you can carry them in your purse or pocket, or even at home if you want to leave them out on a counter. And if you shake the tin, both cats and dogs come running because they recognize the sound of that treats. So those are the first products that we launched in February. And then we are also very soon launching some in-app features, which allows for sticker purchases. And because the way that people use our stickers, they use hundreds of thousands of stickers every month. But now we are moving into more customized stickers. And those packs are available from between $1 to $5. And then from this point, basically, there is an intrinsic reward in being on PetsPee, which is the recognition and the love that you receive from pet owners. But I believe that you can also add an extrinsic reward, which is being able to earn points for your engagement for certain in-app interactions, in which these points can be converted to discounts on various pet products. So we are trying to plan for how to make it not only emotional beneficial, but also a way to earn deals on products based on your engagement.
I love it, Andrea. That sounds great. The salmon treats sound amazing. I need to buy a few tins of that for my dog, Louie, who's been with me now for a year, and we raised him through COVID, and he's been a best friend to my wife and I, of course, through this pandemic. And I'm sure animals have been just so important to so many people through the last, year of the pandemic, and they've always been important. So we mentioned all the time on the Entrepreneur Spotlight series that entrepreneurs sometimes hit roadblocks. Sometimes they hit a pothole. Sometimes something comes up that they didn't anticipate. So in speaking to younger entrepreneurs, Andrea, about your journey, and they might be saying to themselves, wow, I wonder if she hit a pothole. I wonder how she reacted to some challenges. Maybe from your own experience in building PetsPee, you could share with some of the entrepreneurs watching the show sort of the mindset necessary when you hit a challenge or when you hit a roadblock, what you think about to get through those challenges.
I think when you start something, be ready for rejection and understand that that's a part of the process. Not everyone are going to understand and believe your idea, and that's okay. Don't let that demotivate you, but instead thinking, if they don't understand it, which way can I change to communicate it to them? Because something might be so clear to you in your head, but it doesn't mean it's clear to someone else. And then also be ready to adapt, because what you initially had as an idea, like you're so passionate about it, but don't let passion get away in the process, because there's a way to combine it And if you get so stuck in an initial idea of how it must be, you might not be able to adapt to what the market wants. But if I could share one thing, yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, I had so many obstacles and so many pitfalls. It's I can't even count them on hundreds of hands, but it's more like you're doing this and because something draw you to create this, whether it was whatever it was that inspired you, it was something that led you to create this. So keep on going, be resilient, and take the rejection for what it is, and just don't let it break you down. Like, try to separate your self-worth from the business, because you can have a really bad day in your business, but that doesn't mean that you are worthless as a person, or the concept of worthless. It's just a bad day. It's like having a volatile relationship or something, but just stick through it.
I love it, Andrea. That's great advice. And those little challenges, those little potholes, I like to call them mini Harvard MBA events. As long as you learn from that, as long as you learn from the situation, as long as you learn from the difficulty or the challenge as a young entrepreneur or a seasoned entrepreneur or an old entrepreneur like me, you keep on getting better and you keep on improving. That's really what life is all about. You know, life is really, and entrepreneurial life is really about that. Nobody's perfect. Nobody sails through. Nobody goes through a business and has a perfect experience where there's no problems. As a matter of fact, some people might say that if you don't have challenges and don't have problems, you're not pushing hard enough and you're never going to get to where you want to go. And I know in your particular case, you've done such a great job growing PetsPee exponentially with, of course, Angus and Chelsea Williams, that it's just been remarkable. Now, Andrea, when we think about when you wake up in the morning, when we think about entrepreneurship, what is your why? Why does Andrea Nerep get up every single morning and put her, her clothes on and get going in the morning and get walking and continue building PetsPee? What is your why?
It's very simple for me. I simply just love what I'm doing. I'm excited every day when I wake up, and when I go to sleep, I just want to wake up so I can start a new day. And I also have a community that's very excited about what I'm doing. So it's something that I love doing and other people love it. And it's just very rewarding and super fun. And that's my why.
That's awesome. So you really never go to work a day in your life because you love it so much. And that's obviously why the investors also saw something in this. Not only did you find a big need with a big problem that people want to experience each other's animals and dogs, but also they saw your passion and the glee in your eye about doing it. And also they knew that you were bringing a great team aboard as well. So this is absolutely amazing, Andrea, and I really appreciate so much what you've been able to do and coming on the show, because so many entrepreneurs, they want to be an entrepreneur, but they don't know how to take that first step. And from what I'm hearing from your journey, Andrea, is that your first step was just simply, you just took a giant leap. You just took a step and you just said, you know what? I don't know how to build an app. I don't really know how to do this, but I'm just going to start. Is that how it all began?
Yes, truly. And I guess it requires a bit of delusion to do that. Because if you see too many obstacles or like all the reasons why it's going to fail, or read too much into how many apps actually succeed, then by the time you're not going to want to do it anymore. So you have to kind of just stay overly optimistic in the beginning and just believe in your idea. So for me, but I always been taking on project in my life that I thought, well, that's not a problem, and maybe it was, but I didn't realize it until after how hard it was going to be. So it's a little bit of having very much belief in yourself, or knowing that even if you don't know how to figure out yourself, you'll find someone to guide you.
I love it, Andrea. And obviously, entrepreneurs watching this show, Andrea is very, motivational with what she's done. If you know other entrepreneurs or people on the fence or people that have an idea that they haven't quite taken that giant step yet, send them this interview, send them this video. Let Andrea's story motivate other people and pay this forward, because the more entrepreneurs we get going in the world, the better the world, I believe, is going to become, because people are taking control of their own destiny, which is what the Entrepreneur Spotlight Series really, Andrea, is all about. Let's talk just briefly, and I know you've only cut out a certain amount of time. You've got so much going on with your app. Let's talk briefly about listening to your community. Throughout the years since you launched in April of 2018, Andrea, do people in your community reach out to you and Chelsea and say, hey guys, I love this thing, but if you did something else, or A, B, or C, or I have an idea for you that might improve the application, are you open to listening to your users with regard to their commentary about what they want to see on the application?
100%. All of the new features are because of our community. And we even send out these little surveys of what they would think about this feature, or asking them to submit in a long sheet of things that they want that we go through. So a lot of it comes from them, and I'm always closely interacting with them to see how they use it and see why and what features they love. And it's amazing, because when we send out just in one day a little bit.ly link to people responding, it's like 4,000 responses in one day of a little survey. And it's amazing to see all of these responses, how people are so engaged on what they want. So yeah, always listen to my community. I mean, they are the app. Like without them, it's nothing. So they are PetsPee.
I love it, Andrea. You are wise beyond your years. I speak to so many entrepreneurs throughout the world, and the thing that is the common denominator amongst very successful entrepreneurs is that they put the client at the heart of their business. In your particular case, you've done that so well. You sent out a questionnaire, and to get 4,000 responses back in a 24-hour period is remarkable. And what that also says is, not only, Andrea, are you and Chelsea, and of course, your Brussels Griffin, Angus, very excited about your clientele, but your clients, the users, are very excited to be part of the community. So you've built this stickiness, and that's really a dream come true. So many people have tried to do it, and so many people fail at it. And the reason they fail is they haven't hit on a need. It's not really a big solution that they're providing. And more importantly, in your case, they don't have the passion to make it fun and exciting and seamless for their clients, which you've been able to do at PetsPee. So congratulations so much, Andrea, to you and Chelsea, and of course, your Brussels Griffin, Angus. I look forward to seeing Angus on the app when I go back on the app. And I just wanted to take a moment so much to thank you for coming on the Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today, Andrea. You are a true delight. You're a gem. You're really motivational. And this video should be shared amongst entrepreneurs throughout the world if they want to see what an entrepreneur can do with an idea and a passion and a commitment and a fire in her eye. Andrea, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.